Progress.
Okay, Agitin Erev Shabbos. Agitin Erev Shabbos Shuva. Shabbos Shuva is ahead of us. But this year we have the zechus to learn Parshas Vayeilech. 30 beautiful psukim. Parshas Vayeilech. And we're going to continue our regular seder of Pesacheinu Megadim. The shiurim are dedicated to the zechus refuah shlema for Malka Bas Dina. Shishav refuah shlema b'soich shar chalei Yisrael. Now, I would encourage everyone to sign up to our emails. This way you get the Marmakoimai sent to your inbox, and you could follow inside, and you could be apprised of upcoming events. So, the first shiur today, as it says in the email, Pesacheinu Megadim, connecting the beginning and end of Parshas Vayeilech. Here we go. Parshas Vayeilech begins. Vayeilech Moshe, Vayedaber es hadvarim ha'ila el kol Yisrael. Moshe went, and he spoke these words to all of Israel. And indeed, at the end of the Parsha, the final pasuk is Vayedaber Moshe ba'aznei kol kahal Yisrael eis divrei hashira hazois ad tumam. So it begins, Moshe went, Vayedaber, and the Parsha ends that in fact Moshe was Vayedaber. Who did he say it to? Kol kahal Yisrael, the whole Shira. Furthermore, the Ibn Ezra says on the words Vayeilech Moshe Vayedaber es hadvarim ha'ila, the Ibn Ezra explains he went to each and every shevet to let them know that he's going to die and they shouldn't be scared, and he went to strengthen them. That's why a few psukim later it says Ben me'aha ve'esrim shana anoichi hayom la yuchal oid la tzeis v'lavoi. He said, look, I'm 120 today. Today's my last day. Chizku ve'imtsu. Be strong. Al tiru ve'al tartsu mipneihem. So the Parsha begins that Moshe is going to speak to the Jewish people. What is he telling them? What is he going to tell them? So the Ibn Ezra explains he's going to tell them that he's about to die. So indeed, the Parsha ends, Parak Lamed Aleph, Pasuk Chav Tes. Moshe says, I know that after I die, you're going to become corrupt and veer off the road, and all of these bad things will happen. So the Parsha begins, Moshe is going to the people. What's he going to tell the people? Why is he going to visit the people? He's going to the people to tell them he's going to die. And at the end of the Parsha, we find what Moshe Rabbeinu tells the people will happen after he dies. Okay. Then, in the beginning of the Parsha, we have Vayikra Moshe liYoshua, Vayomer elav le'enei kol Yisrael, Chazak ve'ematz, Ki ata tavi es ha'am hazeh el ha'aretz asher nishba Hashem la'avoisam. A couple of psukim into the Parsha, Moshe calls Yehoshua, and he says to him, before the eyes of all of Israel, be strong, you're going to bring this nation to the land that I swear to your forefathers. And indeed, at the end of the Parsha, it's interesting. The 7th pasuk is Moshe calls Yehoshua, and he says, be strong, you're going to bring the Jewish people into the land of Israel. And the 7th to last pasuk is Moshe commands Yehoshua, and he says, be strong, you're going to bring the Bnei Yisrael to the land that I swore to them. Actually, Rashi on the pasuk, Vayitzav es Yehoshua, and he says, you're going to bring the Bnei Yisrael to land that I swore to them. It's going on what it said earlier, meaning it's going on that earlier pasuk. It's continuing on that. Sometimes you speak to somebody, you tell them something, you go off on a tangent, and then to, so to speak, reel them back in, you go back to a point of reference from earlier on in the conversation. That's what's taking place over here. Vayikra Moshe liYoshua, and you're going to be strong, you're going to bring the people into the land, and then Moshe Rabbeinu sort of returns to that reference point. So now, I want to share with you one more connection between the beginning of the Parsha and the end. It's really astounding. The beginning of the Parsha says, Vayeilech Moshe went, Vayedaber es hadvarim ha'ila el kol Yisrael. The Parsha ends, that Moshe told the Bnei Yisrael as divrei hashira hazois, the words of this song. Earlier on in the Parsha it says, V'yata kisvu lachem es hashira hazois. You should write this song. Rashi says, what's the song? Ha'azinu hashamayim until v'chiper ad masay amay. Wait a second. This is rebuke. This is stern musar. Would you call musar a song? You know, call the Shabbos Shuvah Drasha whatever you want. Powerful, compelling, dramatic, but it's not a song. How can you call Hazino a song? What's very interesting is that on the words Vayeilech Moshe Vayedaber, all the Mefarshim want to know, Moshe went. Where did he go? What does it mean Moshe went? Where did Moshe go? So the Targum says Moshe went. He went to the Beis HaMedrash. Why did he go to the Beis HaMedrash? Why did he go to the Beis HaMedrash? So I want to explain the connection between the beginning and the end of the Parsha based on an amazing insight from the Belzer Rebbe. The Belzer Rebbe says, to explain the Targum, that Moshe Rabbeinu went to the Beis HaMedrash and he told the Klal Yisrael the words of the Toichacha, the words of the rebuke. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu go to the Beis Medrash to tell the Jewish people the words of the rebuke? I mean, did Moshe always go to the Beis Medrash when he wanted to rebuke Klal Yisrael? So the Belzer Rebbe said, why do we refer to the Toichacha as a song? How is the Toichacha a song? How is this rebuke a song? So he said as follows. We know there's an idea from the Gemara Menachos that if you learn the halachos of a carbon oila, it's like you brought an oila. If you learn the halachos of a carbon, it's like you brought the carbon. So too when it comes to the rebuke of the Torah. Hashem doesn't want all these punishments to actually occur. All the punishments of the Toichacha, God doesn't want them to happen. God would rather you learn them, and when you learn it, it's as if it happened. The same way if you learn about an oila, it's as if you're a makar of the oila. The same way if you learn about menachos, it's like you're makar of menachos. If you learn about the toichacha, it's like you're makar. It's like the toicha was fulfilled. And by doing so, by learning about it and accepting upon yourself the yira from it, so it's as if it happened. These are the words of the Belzer Rebbe. So the later Belzer Rebbe said like this: "Va'ata kisvu lechem es hashira hazois." Write this song. How did the Toichacha become a song? The answer is kisvu hazois. V'lamdas b'nei Yisrael. You know how it became a song? It became a song by learning, by teaching it to the b'nei Yisrael. You know how the Toichacha became a song? If you learn it, v'yata kisvu lachem es hashira hazois. How did it become a shira? Lamdas b'nei Yisrael, by learning the Torah, sima b'fihem, because the purpose is that it shouldn't happen, but rather you should learn it in your mouth. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu went to the Beis Medrash, because when he had to tell Klal Yisrael about these stern rebukes, he went to the Beis Medrash, the Makam Torah, to be meramis to Klal Yisrael, that the tachlis is that by learning about it, it's as if they received it. So now we have a beautiful connection between the beginning of the Parsha and the end of the Parsha. The Parsha begins, Vayeilech Moshe, where did he go? He went to the Beis HaMedrash, and he taught the Toichacha to Klal Yisrael, and by doing so, the Parsha ends, Vayedaber Moshe ba'oznei kol Klal Yisrael as divrei hashira hazois. By going to the Beis Medrash and teaching the Torah to Klal Yisrael, so now the Toichacha became like a shira. So the opening of the Parsha, Vayeilech Moshe, to where the Beis Medrash rendered it into a shira for Klal Yisrael. Okay, Rabbi Isai, that is offering number 1, Pesacheinu Megadim on Parshas Vayeilech.
Recording stopped.